Hi everyone, how are we?
I had previously uploaded the visual of this video in a live stream while we were viewing it together for the first time. However, I had not included Detective Casey's report. So here it is. Enjoy. The following information is from a portion of the police report written by former Waukesha Police Detective Thomas Casey on July 8, 2022, regarding incident report number 21-047493. I, Waukesha Police Detective Thomas Casey, have been assigned as lead detective for Waukesha Parade tragedy that occurred on November 21st, 2021, where 6 people were killed and over 60 people injured. Darrell E. Brooks was arrested and has been charged with this incident. Darrell E. Brooks has been in custody at the Waukesha County Jail since November 22, 2021. I've received training and, as a normal practice in criminal investigations, have listened to multiple phone conversations between inmates and people they call on the phone while the inmate is in custody. Inmates are notified at the beginning of calls that they are subject to monitoring and recording. I was monitoring the phone calls of Darrell E. Brooks, and on March 18, 2022, at 12:16 p.m., Brooks called the phone number 414 and spoke to an adult female. I recognized this number to belong to Dawn Woods, who is the mother of Darrell E. Brooks. During this phone call, Darrell E. Brooks stated to his mother, "I got some information in the mail last night from this guy. He's incarcerated. He has some mental illness issues going on in his case. It was a pretty popular case in Wisconsin. This guy named James M. Kruger, back in early 20-teens, he had a really big high-profile case. They called what he did a crime spree out in Madison. That is Dane County. He stabbed a guy and did some armed robberies and had a federal case with 2 guns case and getting like 22 years or something. But he is mentally ill, and so when he had crime spree, he sent me, I got all the information he sent me. He sent me a big old packet in a manila envelope. He was telling me I should try and get a NGI. Why lawyers not trying to get an NGI? He is in the Wisconsin Resource Center now. A check of law enforcement resources found that November of 2013, James Kruger was arrested for first-degree reckless endangering safety, bail jumping, and felon in possession of a firearm. A competency exam was ordered in Grant County. It appears that Kruger is still in custody at the Wisconsin Resource Center in Oshkosh. On June 20th, 2022, the lawyers for Darrell E. Brooks entered a plea of not guilty by mental disease. I believe that review of any information that Brooks has received would be helpful in determining if he has received information to coach him through psychological exams. I advised Deputy District Attorney Basie of the information, and it was determined that a court order would be drafted to search Darrell Brooks' cell for the paperwork from James M. Kruger. The court order was drafted and presented to Judge Schimmel on June 30th, 2022. Judge Schimmel signed the court order on Friday, July 1st, 2022, at approximately 10 a.m. Sergeant Dukarski, Specialist Plata, WKSO Detective Reglin, Deputy District Attorney Basie, and myself went to the Waukesha County Jail to execute the search of Darrell Brooks's jail cell. Initially, we met with Jail Administrator Vollenhaupt to make arrangements for the search. During our conversations with Vollenhaupt, she told us Brooks is a model prisoner. She told us that he has had no discipline except for some minor rules infractions, such as pushing the call button when he's not supposed to. She told us that when she sees Brooks in the jail, he sometimes complains that she does not say hi to him. She also told us that he is separated from other inmates and has 2 guards escort Brooks when he is moved, not due to any misconduct by Brooks in the jail, but instead for Brooks' safety. Prior to the search, we were advised by Deputy DA Basie that we should not look at any correspondence between Brooks and his lawyers, nor correspondence or paperwork between Brooks and any medical or mental health professionals. Brooks' cell was located on the 1st floor of the jail, POD 1, cell F126. Specialist Plata took photos of the cell before we began searching the cell. Detective Roglin and myself searched the cell. Either Administrator Vollenhaupt or one of her colleagues watched us perform the search. Also watching was Sergeant Dekarski and Deputy D.A. Basie. The jail cell had a small desk on the far wall that had stacks of paper and documents. We first looked through these documents. On top of this stack was an MMPI, Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, test. I did not look through the test, but appeared as if it had not been filled out yet. Looking through the stacks of papers, there were some folders from the State Public Defender's Office. The papers were not taken out, nor read. Just briefly looked at to verify the paper were not from someone else. Any court papers were not read. There were some handwritten letters which were read to see if they were from James Kruger. There were also Bible verses and some photos. While going through the items, after I looked at the items, I set them on the floor next to the desk. After we were done reading the items, we placed the items back onto the desk. We tried to put the items back in the way which they were found. The mattress was lifted and a number of papers were located. There was a stack of papers which discussed the case of James Kruger. Some were news articles, narrative about YouTube, articles on James Kruger, and case law publishings on Brown v. Stearns 304F 367. Detective Roglin took these papers and made copies of the papers. The originals were returned to the cell and put back under the mattress. I also observed a radio and headphones under the mattress. These were not touched. We were in the cell approximately 30 minutes. There were some papers temporarily taken from the cell to be photocopied and then returned. Nothing was taken from the cell. We tried to leave the cell in the way we found it. I believe from the phone call which Brooks communicated with his mother that James Kruger had wrote Brooks a letter. We did not find a letter from Kruger in his cell. I have requested the photos Specialist Plata taken be forwarded to the District Attorney's Office. I have forwarded to the District Attorney's Office a copy of the jail call Brooks made on March 18th, 2022. Copies of the documents that we copied are attached. I am also including a copy of the court order that authorized the search of the cell.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.